Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the Fanstoys Outrider, their version of Trailbreaker. Real quick, we'll look at the box. Everyone's showing off the box. All I can really say is it's a box. You know where it's going to end up for me? In the trash. Like all the other boxes. I mean, I don't really care. It's just one more thing for me to throw away. You know, if there was a way for these things to come without packaging, I would take it in a heartbeat. I'm just saying. Alright, so, here is the figure in his car mode. He rolls really well. He feels like a solid brick. These rotate, and I'm not sure exactly why. I haven't actually looked at the instructions for this guy. I didn't feel like I needed to, actually. He was a very... it's a very good transformer in the sense that it's not super simple. It has its complexities, but every piece has its own place. And it's like, as you manipulate it, it's like, oh, well, this obviously goes here. And this one obviously goes there. And it makes it a very enjoyable figure. Those do anything. So, all that being said, I will probably miss one or two things. So please don't hate me for it. Alright, so he does come with some accessories. He does come with an alternate left hand. We'll get to that in a bit. He's got 3 faceplates, or 3 extra faceplates, and we'll show those off once we get there. He does come with his pistol. Everyone's saying it looks like the Bumblebee gun. I agree. However, I do, if I remember correctly, I believe Ironhide has a gun like this as well. So, I think it's like a standard Autobot blaster, I think. But I could be wrong. I don't have the MP Ironhide at the moment, so... he does come with this radar dish that has it's got a hinge here and I believe there's a swivel built in as well, but it's not wanting to move. Probably because I'm just trying with my hands. And if you want to utilize that, there's just these 2 ports on the roof of the car, and you just plug it in. Just like that. And yeah, it does rotate. So yeah, if you want that look, you can definitely do that look. I don't really want to do that look, so I don't really care. But yeah, it rolls just fine. Looks great. Trailbreaker was never one of my favorite characters. But this figure does look good. Like, it is just solid. It gets together just really nicely. It's fun to manipulate. So yeah, let's get him transformed. Because there's really nothing else to... you can... if you want to, open the doors. That's something we haven't seen in a while in a Transformer. If I can get it in there. Come on. All right. Let's see, where's my little pry thing? I don't want to use a screwdriver because I don't want to damage the paint. Should have been prepared, but wasn't expecting this. Alright, let's give this a try again. As I knock over the camera. I'd say I'd edit that out, but I tried doing that editing earlier this year, and nobody seemed to really care about the difference. So I was just like, that's a lot more work. Wow, they're just really stuck in there. There we go. So you can open the door if you want to. If that's something that really appeals to your sensibilities, you can have the door open. That's all I got. I mean, it's a cool little feature, I guess. Not something I really care too much about. So let's get them transformed. So the first thing we want to do is pull the legs out like this, and then they tab into the hood here, so we want to pull that out so the whole thing comes down like this. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is the actual legs. So you want to split the feet. Let's see, let's start here. So you want to pull this panel here out. This piece here rotates in. That closes up, and that closes up. Works like a champ. So again, pull this piece here out, rotate that in. I almost missed this on the initial, and I'm like, there's a little piece missing. And these look like they do so. Oh! I was pretty impressed. Just that little detail was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Alright, so fold this in, or fold this out. Fold this piece here out. Like that. This will rotate up. This will rotate down. Just like that. And then this will rotate inward. Oh. First, you gotta take the leg here and rotate this down. It's on a double hinge, kind of like a Combiner Wars joint. And then rotate this in, right? Come on. You just rotate in, right? I don't see any reason why it's not rotating. Let's try the other one. See if I'm doing something wrong. So fold these out. Cording this up. It just doesn't want to rotate. Huh. And I can't quite get in there to see what's going on. Like, am I just not putting enough pressure on it? It's just plastic, so I don't want to do too much to it. And do these, like if I open that up, no, that shouldn't make any difference at all. There we go. You just gotta force it, I guess. This will rotate up and lock in like that. Let's get this. Get that out of there. All right. And then what we want to do is you take this little black piece here, and this rotates up and clips into the foot, and that holds the foot stable. It's just that little extra bit of engineering that's like, it wasn't necessary, but it really does help, because it's like, you see this, it's like, I mean, it works, and most companies would just leave it at that, but you fold this up, lock that in, and now you've got a solid foot, and it's just like, just that little bit of extra. There we go. And then we rotate this up, lock that all in, and there's the feet. Just like that. Alright, let's see if I can remember how to do the rest of this. So we want to take the arms here and rotate these out like this. We'll clean those up in a minute. Just kind of get them out of the way. And then we take this piece here. Let's see, how do I do this? Like I said, I've only transformed them the one time, and that was just to car mode. So it's just kind of got to come back to me here. Let's fold the head out. This was a bit of transformation that I missed, and I couldn't get him right until I looked at it a little bit closer. But his head actually comes out. The back of the head folds out for car mode, and then it just folds back in for robot mode, like that. I'll show that more if I remember to in a minute. Alright, and then we fold this piece here out. Just kind of moving things around here. And then we can fold this up and around. Alright, so let me show you that transformation. So this folds up like that. And that gives enough clearance for the arms. Again, it's just a nice little extra bit that helps things move a little bit smoother, which is nice. And this piece here, I think, actually rotates, because I've got this panel here. I think it rotates. Looks like it should, but it's not moving. So I should have had that rotated for car mode. But we're going to leave it how it is. So there's one thing I missed. Guaranteed. Alright. Let's see here. So this needs to fold up. Fold up. And fold in, I believe. There we go. I think it goes in like this, right? I don't know. I just don't know, guys. Maybe not. Alright, because these will come up and out like this. Maybe that'll help. Alright, and these are arms, so this will come down and it kind of comes into the backpack. So now we got to figure out how to fold this all up into a backpack. Maybe like that. These rotate. Yeah, these rotate in. Oh yeah. So this will come up like this. So we know that goes there, and then maybe this comes back here. All right, that's looking a little better. Alright, and that all locks in. That locks in. Alright. Alright, I'm not entirely sure what we did there, and I don't know if you saw that. Alright. Yeah, I don't know if any of that got on camera, and I can't pause and go back. So, basically I just mashed the backpack together until it fit. So, it worked. Alright. So now let's finish it up. So the head. There we go. And lock this all back into place. I wish I knew if it went in like on the camera, but basically what I did. So we got all this stuff folded up in there. This back piece comes back to here. And then the tires just kind of slide up on the sides there. And then it all just clips together. Just like that. Pretty nice solid clunk there. fold the arms down, and then we take this piece and this will rotate around. And what we want to do is, let's see, fold the window in, and then we can fold this whole assembly in, it locks in, and then this side piece of the door actually folds in, closing that up. One thing I can't quite tell is if the little mirror here should be forward facing or back facing. It came back facing, so I'm going to kind of leave it like that and hope for the best there. I just don't want to break it, like get it caught in a joint or something. So you just kind of accordion that in, fold that up. Arms, pretty standard here. You flip the gun out, and then you can just pull the barrel out. And that forms his little forearm there. And it looks like you got to take this screw out in order to get the alternate hand on, in case you want to do that. I'm not going to. And then we fold the other hand out. Alright, and then the head, I saw this on Baldwin's little quick video. What you want to do is when you pull this down, there's 2 tabs in the back and 1 tab in the front. So you want to put the 2 tabs in first and then the 1 tab. And then if you do that right, if you do that just right, it shouldn't give you any trouble. Mine proceeds to fall right out of place. Well, mine's not staying quite in. It's better than some of the other videos I've seen, but it's not as good as his. I'll mess with it later. But yeah, you just want to go from the back to the front when you're tabbing it in, and once you do that, it'll tab in pretty securely. When I first messed with it, he was definitely, you could hold him up. His ankles are really loose though now. Let's see here. All right. It's the rocker. That's well, there's this screw here. That's the tilt. So we should be able to just go in and let me find a different screwdriver. I've got too much shit over here. Should help the tilt at least. My rocker's loose, but the tilt is tight now. So at least there's that. And the rocker's on a pin, it looks like, so there's nothing I can do about the rocker. Alright, and there we go. Let's go over posability and we'll look at accessories here in a second. So, first off, he's got this little doohickey here that's on a hinge to the body and then a hinge to the weapon. So it hinges up, hinges back. I wish there was a rotator in there just to give it a little bit more maneuverability, or a ball joint or something. This one has a hinge here, and then it's on a ball joint, so it moves around and such. And of course, when I mess with that popped the head out. So yeah, the head is a problem. There we go. And it's like I moved the gun, or this thing, and it rotated the head. So the head is on I'm assuming a ball joint. So you left and right, a little up, a little down, and it is just not wanting to lock in now. There it goes. All right, shoulders. This is the one point of this figure that I really don't like, is the shoulder articulation. So you got a hinge up to here, so it gets a decent range. You got ratchet around, but it does get caught up on things because of that little mirror. So, but it's like if you have the mirror in a different location, like in this way, it's going to get caught up there too. It's just in the way. I kind of wish that they just didn't have the mirror. So it rotates out. There's no like butterfly, which really, but there's no in and out either. So it just kind of limits what you can do with the arm at this point. You can dismantle this, and kind of get a little bit more posability out of it, but overall you're kind of stuck with just an up and down. There's a bicep swivel here, and then a bend at the elbow, which gets them a pretty good range. Nothing really at this hand, but this hand, it does have the wrist swivel. Each finger has 2 points of articulation, and then the thumb is on a ball joint and a hinge. So you get, standard Fanstoys fare there. So it all works pretty well. Waist swivel. He does have an ab crunch, but he's very top heavy. So it doesn't, you're not going to be able to utilize this with anything. So it's kind of like, it's there, but it's kind of worthless. So, take that as you will. Hips, ratchet up, ratchet back, rotate out. There's a thigh swivel, bends at the knee. Really good bend for just a single jointed knee. The foot is on a rocker. My rockers are a little on the loose side. And then it does have the tilt, which, as I showed you, you could just go in there and tighten those up. So those are working pretty well for me now. So for the face, let's see here. How do I do this? Does it just come down? Is that what happens here? Or does this come up? Yeah. So that pulls up, and then you can pull off the face. So he's got the stoic face. You've got a yelly face. You've got another yelly face, which looks pretty much identical. So I don't know if maybe I got two of the same faces, but I don't know. I haven't really watched a lot of reviews. Like I watch reviews, but I don't watch the transformation. I skip ahead. So I don't know if other people got two yelly faces. I think he's got a stoic face. So essentially 2 stoic faces and 2 angry faces. No happy faces, no grinning faces. Nothing like that. So we'll plug this back in. Close that up. And then attach all that. And then we could take his gun here, and that will just plug into his hand. You know, typical style, you know, not the way I would do it if I were in charge. I would be making, you know, detachable hands that are posed and make a gun posed in a hand. So yeah, there you go. So what I want to show you real quick, there he is. 1 second. So here's Masterpiece Shockwave. Now, I'm not comparing him to Shockwave, but see, the way I wanted to pose him was going to be like, you know, like something like this, where he's got the gun out, you know, looking at where he's shooting with his little gun hand. You know, that's, you know, kind of a typical pose for these kind of figures, right? But the problem is that because of the limited articulation, I could get it up, but I can't get it out. I could get it this way, I guess. I mean, I could. It doesn't move as smoothly as Shockwave. Now, Shockwave doesn't have these big shoulder pieces here, but because he's got ratchets on the inside, up and down, the swivel, and another ratchet here, in and out, and the bicep swivel, you know, it's like, because he's got two in and outs and the ratchet, it gives him just more. I can do more with my arms than he can. So it just kind of gets into that. He's a little limited, and it kind of sucks because of it. So instead, I was just going to have to, you know, pose him, you know, something like this. So it really does limit what I wanted to do with him as opposed to what I can do with him. So here he is, just to kind of show him off with a couple guys. Here he is with the Fanstoys Huffer and the Transform Elements Prime. So I think he's the right scale. I do like having, you know, the bigger Autobots to go with the Carbots and stuff. But yeah, I mean, so I have a couple problems with this guy. Obviously, the arm articulation is a big one for me. It's not a deal breaker, really. Because it's a Trailbreaker. But it's just a hindrance on how I would want to pose him or what I could do with him. Just because of the limited articulation. Now, it could be missing something. Maybe there's another joint in there that's just so tight it's not moving. But that's also would be a knock against him if it's so tight that it's not moving. The feet issue, you know, the rockers are loose on mine, and there's not a way to tighten that I could tell. But the tilts were loose too, and that was an easy fix. So it's like, that's not the end of the world. The head issue, I'm not worried about the head thing. Because once I get it posed, I mean, the only thing that really knocks it out of place is if you manipulate the hinges on these two too much, or you hold them up by the head. And yeah, see, it was holding for a second there. But it's like, I typically don't pick them up by their heads. But now that I know I can't on this guy, that's probably exactly where I would want to go. The faceplates, you know, you essentially have 4 faceplates, but there's really only 2 because there's 2 stoic and 2 screaming. Now, again, that could just be mine. Maybe I got a bad copy or something when it comes to the faceplates. So maybe that's just me, but I don't know. And then the ab crunch is loose to the point where it's like it's worthless. There's nothing I can do with that ab crunch. You know, you flip it over and he falls face first, and then that'll make his whole body unstable, and he'll fall completely over. So it's just like leave it locked in so he's standing straight up and down. What's the point of having it? You know, it's like I wish they would have removed it entirely and did a little bit more articulation in the arms. You know, like if we have to pick and choose one or two pieces of articulation, like get rid of that fucking ab crunch and improve something else. So those are my nitpicks. The positives, I love this figure. It's a really good figure. You know, past that, it's just like I don't want you guys to think like, man, I hate this thing. I really do. The more I messed with it, especially like getting him into car mode and finding more little tricks and swivels and hinges and stuff like that, it's just a fun transformer to mess with in that sense. And it's not a character that I really like, so it's kind of cool to have a representation of him that I actually like, to the point where it's like, you know what? I kind of like Trailbreaker now. I might watch G1. No, I won't. I was going to say I might rewatch G1 just so I can watch some Trailbreaker scenes, but it's like, no, I won't, because I can't do that again. Not for a while, anyway. Just, anyway. I think it's a great figure. Now, there's the debate on which one to get. Do you get the Fanstoys? Do you get the Bad Cube? Do you get the X-Transbots? Do you get the Masterpiece? So there's like 4 different options of him out there. And here's where my original decision had gone. And it was going to be the Masterpiece one, because he was right in between the price point of the Fanstoys and the X-Transbot. I think MP's about $150. He was about $180, $190-ish, somewhere around there. And then the X-Transbots was like $120 or something like that. So like the MP was right in the middle. And I was going to get the MP, but I decided to get him because he's out. And I just wanted him. Well, I was just like, okay. And I was also just finished reviewing Chomp, and I love that figure. So I was really kind of on like that Fanstoys high. So I was like, you know what? I'll spend the extra $20-$30 or whatever, and I'll get this guy now. I'm ultimately happy with my purchase. Now, I can't attest for the other figures because I don't have them. I could just attest by the companies. You know, I think the Masterpiece one's probably going to be good. I probably won't buy it at this point because I already have this, and I'm not in the game to buy multiple copies of the same character, especially somebody like Trailbreaker. You know, it's kind of a one and done thing, and I'm glad I got a good one. Bad Cube historically has overly complex transformations that don't really make for a fun figure, and they make things really fidgety. So that's why I wouldn't even consider Bad Cube. X-Transbots makes really good looking figures, but the quality has historically been really bad with X-Transbots. So I can't sit here and say they would be a good option either. I mean, I can't really say that either of those two are bad options. Because, again, like I said, I haven't messed with them. But I'm just going historically from the company standpoint. And that is something that's kind of, scary to me. You know, thinking about going in on one of the company's figures or another is just historically, these are the things that go through my mind. Historically, Bad Cube makes overcomplicated figures, and X-Transbot makes things that fall apart. So it's just like, you know, if you're really debating on a Trailbreaker, you don't have one already, you know, I would either, personally, I would recommend wait for Masterpiece, or get the Fanstoys, because the Fanstoys one is a solid figure. Yes, he has issues, of course, but he's a solid figure. I do enjoy the figure. Masterpiece is going to be a little bit cheaper. Now, if you just wanted something on the shelf, then maybe X-Transbots is the right way to go, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. The next question is Huffer, or Hoist, not Huffer. Which Hoist will I get? Will I get the Masterpiece one if they do one? Or will I get the Fanstoys one if they do one? Or should I just go get the X-Transbots one? Since it's already out and I could be just checking off the box. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been kind of leaning towards the X-Transbots just so I can have two different molds. That's one thing. It's like when it comes to these two characters of the same... characters that share the same mold, but they're slightly different, so they're supposed to be different, looking characters. I want to try and get different molds for them, if I can. So, I don't know, maybe Masterpiece or maybe X-Transbots. I don't know, I haven't made up my mind. Probably not Fanstoys, though. Just for variation's sakes, that's just how I feel. But then again, I do have 3 of the Masterpiece Seekers over there. But it's just like I couldn't do the Masterpiece Seekers because nobody made them in the same scale. Idiots. But anyway, ultimately, for this guy, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really solid figure. I really like it. It's worth the price point. I just wish they would have done better here, and done better here. Just posability issues. So past that, I think it's a really solid figure. A lot of people are making a big deal about the head thing. I'm not worried about it. I think it works just fine. Unless you grab them by the heads and swing them around. It's not gonna really give you an issue. Once you get it locked in properly, I've seen some people where they plug it in and it just pops right back out. But yeah, just kind of go from back to front. Baldwin, again, he's got a good video up where he's just showing off that particular part, and then the ankle fix. So I recommend checking that out. And just checking out his channel in general. He's a good guy. So anyway, I guess that's really all I got. So yeah.